Okay, hello. I'm author H.L. Brooks, and this is a TikTok class level 2 with Amber, and she is going to teach us about. So we previously had a beginner class for it was a super beginner, it's very basic, setting up your account and things like that. Today she's going to talk more about video editing and SEO and things and hashtags and things like that. So if you people who want to get their TikTok a little bit more robust, this is a class to help with that. Amber is on TikTok. She's been doing social media for, I don't know, how many years have you been doing social media?
About 12, 13.
12, 13 years. And full disclosure, she's my daughter. And she has taught me a number of things about TikTok, and that's how I got rolling in that. I don't have nearly as many followers as her, but just in the past week since we had our last class, I have gained about 75 followers by I used some of the stuff that she taught us last week in terms of split and stuff. I felt a little more confident making my videos and a little more creative with them, with the splitting and some other features I wasn't aware of. And already I've got about 75 more followers just since last week. So,
Yay.
all right. So I'm going to hand it over to Amber, and then there will be a chance to ask questions of all the people in here have questions. It may go on for hours. So, all right. Take it away, Amber.
Great. Mm. So essentially this class, like she said, is going to be more of a little bit more advanced, still very beginner, but just a step up from the last class that we did. So this will be going over a little bit of the filming editing aspects, just a little bit more, and growing and engaging your audience a little bit better. So um, the first thing, your settings, whether it's iPhone or Android, either one, your settings in your actual phone for your camera are incredibly important.
You're
After,
cutting out. You're cutting out a smidge.
uh, um, can you still hear me okay?
I can, but I think maybe just if you speak up a little.
Um, so, one of the things that I have found over the years is if you're recording in 4K, 4K has been a thing for a couple years now. I remember when HD came out years ago, but that we've gone. However, uh, recording in the 1080p HD setting tends to be a lot better because all of the and platforms like Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, they're all actually press your video down to 1080p. So um, 4K is kind of that really sharp, really quick moving like type of videos, really, really detailed, which is great. A lot of people will that for travel and outdoor sporting, like things like that. But your video from 4K again is going to get compressed down. So changing your settings in your actual phone will help you, whether you're recording in your phone and then uploading it later to TikTok or to YouTube or Instagram Reels, wherever you're uploading to. It won't have to work nearly as hard to get it uploaded. Also, if you are uploading 4K content, even if you're on a platform that's allowing 4K, sometimes it ruins the experience for the viewer because depending on their internet speed, their phone capabilities, it might take a little longer. And we know everybody has a really short attention span. So your video taking a second longer when it only takes 3 seconds to lose someone's attention, it's not worth it. You can film in 4K if you want to, but I recommend exporting it. Like once you're done editing it, to actually like put it on TikTok that you do it at 1080p and 24 frames per second. So you will see something like this box. You will see something like this when you go into your. Can you see my cursor? When you go into your any of your settings,
Yeah, I can.
yeah, on your phone, I mean, it's going to look a little different, but essentially you're just going to go to settings and then you're going to pick your camera app. and it's going to bring up something like this. So when you record a video, this is what it's asking you. Do you want it to record in 4K at 60 frames per second or whatever? I would highly recommend choosing 1080p and nothing above 30 frames per second. So 24 is the one that a lot of films are actually shot in, like movies, and it gives a very cinematic feel, which is more or less what people want. It has that like nice, soft movement vibe, but it's still very detailed if you're using the 1080p. So I definitely recommend using that. And again, we're going to send these slides to you guys. So this has the directions on, instructions on how to do it for your iPhone versus an Android phone. So either way, you guys will be able to do that. The only thing different with the Android is you're going to have a couple different things like the HEVC option, which is high efficiency video coding. It's again just higher quality video output. That one though, I have found if you disable it, you get like quicker upload times and better quality for some reason. But that's one just to keep an eye out for if you have an Android. But either way, just popping into your settings and making sure you're changing that. And also just try it out. Try doing 4K, at 30 frames per second, 60 frames. Just see if you like it. See if it takes you longer to upload your video. And then try the 1080p at 24 frames per second. If you don't have the 24 frames per second option, I noticed some people when I was in class yesterday, some people didn't have that option on their phone. Their phones were older. They only had like a 30 frames or 60 frames per second. That's fine. Whatever the lowest frames per second that you can get it at, 24 frames. That was what I would recommend doing. Also, if you find that you are having like you're uploading your content, you're doing those 1080p 24 frames per second settings, and you're still coming out with like these really blurry videos, like they're pixelated, they're blurry. It's just not nice and crisp like the way you would want it. You're using the right kind of lighting. I would definitely try turning off data saver mode. It's something that helped me a lot. I was using an Android, even though I have an iPhone, I was using my Android to upload, and this is actually something that it really actually changed the upload times, and it did change the quality when I was trying to upload. So you can actually turn that off inside of TikTok, and this is the instructions for that. So that'll be sent to you guys as well. These are your ratios, your aspect ratios for filming. So you will find when you are using like a video editing app, so say you've shot something in landscape, but you go to edit and crop the video at some point, it will give you all like a 3:4 or a 9:16 or 16:9. It'll bring up various aspect ratios that you want to maybe crop it to and then export it in. If you were to take a landscape video, lots of us have shot in landscape, and you wanted to upload it in a 9:16 to upload it to TikTok or wherever, what it's going to do is it's going to take that sort of center of the picture, it's going to blow it up and really zoom in and probably get the quality. You're going to have some quality loss there. So I always recommend if you are going to shoot content to try to shoot in landscape as well as portrait, just to see if it's something that some people really like shooting in landscape. They find that is something that they like doing content in better. But you don't want to lose your content just because you've shot it in landscape and now you have to upload it to this, and you can't. It's not going to. You're going to get that quality loss. So it's going to crop out a lot of detail. What's really interesting is actually just this year, TikTok updated the platform. So now they said they're prioritizing landscape. I haven't particularly noticed that they're prioritizing it, but they're supporting it. So if you have old landscape videos that, you shot back in the early 2000s or whatever that you want to use as content, now you can. Old TikTok video or YouTube videos that you've uploaded to YouTube that were in landscape, you can use those to upload to TikTok now. So it's neat because it'll give you, more content that you can use. But this is definitely when you're exporting and you're trying to crop and edit your videos, it's just ratios to be aware of, that this is going to be more of your, landscape YouTube style. And this is going to be more of like a TikTok Reels, kind of situation. Also, if you guys are in TikTok, you should see some of these toggle sections. The only one I would really pay attention to right now, we don't really need to go over to any of them. This one here, make sure this one is on. This is allowing high quality uploads. So this is going to be, it's not going to compress it down any less than the quality that you're, uploading it to, to the app with. So I would definitely make sure that that is turned on, just so that you are getting the quality that you actually uploaded to the platform. I'm not sure why anyone would ever want to toggle that off. Honestly, I don't know why. It kind of seems like a redundant. It's like yes, I'd like good quality video. Thank you. I appreciate it. Like, okay. The other thing is quality and making sure that you're making really seamless edits. There's a couple of different apps that you guys can use. So CapCut by TikTok. There's always fun little trending sounds and things that they do that CapCut themselves puts out, and you can upload your own little thing to it. I know my mom just recently did one. She said that did pretty well. So these are really fun. But CapCut itself is a video editing app. Again, owned by TikTok. So I feel like they favor it if you're using CapCut and its templates. So because they want you to be using all their stuff. So CapCut I would say is a good for beginners and also for people who know that at some point they're going to want to progress and have more bells and whistles. Like you're gonna do better with video editing. You're gonna get more of an education on editing, and you want to get to more of that like accelerated level. So that's really good. If you want something super simple, like insanely simple, maybe you film in your camera a lot, like outside of apps and TikTok. Cut is a really, really good one. They finally brought it on to iOS, so it's available there. So I have it on my iPhone and my Android now. It is, I mean, bare minimum, no bells and whistles. It's really just cropping your video of cropping out your ums and pauses and all those things. And also you can, put filters on it, things like that, but it's super simple. It's very similarly laid out to the editing that's in TikTok. But what this does is it allows you to film in your camera, edit it outside of TikTok, and then you have it saved in UCut, already edited and finished up. And that way you can just directly upload it from UCut to, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, whatever you want to do. Simplified is one that it's actually a brand that I was working with. I can show you guys real quick kind of what it looks like. I notice a lot of people who do like podcasts and really like punchy videos. They like to use these kinds of things. I don't know if it's going to load while I'm on here. But you just go on here and you pick templates, and it will do the it will actually just do the captions for you, like the highlighted captions. It will do like text boxes, all kinds of fancy stuff. It'll do the zoom in, zoom out, cut to the next scene kind of stuff. But this is just one that I picked. So it's just a template that I picked, but it just creates all that for you. I will say this one is pretty neat because a lot of this kind of stuff, people that I know, like the podcast dudes and stuff that I know that have things like this, they actually pay people to edit their videos like this. So this is actually, it's pretty neat. It is like a paid thing, but if you guys are really looking to do something, a little level it up, or if you just like this vibe, that's something that I would say is something you might want to check out. But UCut, I think is maybe like a couple bucks a month if you get the pro version. CapCut I think is also starts out free. I think you can get a paid pro version. I usually just use the free versions of everything because I don't really do. You don't need super crazy edits. You really don't. Simplified again, if you want to move up to having all those like really punchy captions and colors on the screen and stuff, that's something that you can do. So lighting, there are various types of lighting. One thing I will say is that it's important to not overinvest in things if you don't have the money. You don't need to do this like crazy lighting setup. You can get lighting kits off of Amazon that have a fill light, a key light, a backlight, have a backdrop, all those things. This is like just your general primary setup for taking photos, doing videos. But you don't necessarily need all of these things. Will it create a really neat vibe, a really nice vibe? Yes, but you can create this with like a nice floor lamp behind you, you know, a window over here with a sheer curtain, and, you know, sometimes a nice bright lamp without a lampshade on it. You don't necessarily have to buy a bunch of stuff, but just at least knowing this setup and why it works and why you know, it does the thing that it does, I think is really important, so that whenever you have other things available to you, like a lamp and a window, you know exactly why they're doing the thing they're doing, and you kind of can recreate this setup for yourself. There we go. Selfie ring light, super popular, mostly with, I would say, beauty creators and people who um, are doing like photography and things like that, like in their everyday life, they're doing like a behind the scenes. The ring light is not my favorite at all. It's actually one of my least favorite ones. A lot of it is because people don't really know how to use the ring light correctly. It's an incredibly harsh light, and to me, they're a little expensive. The fact that a lot of times the tripod that they come on break. The ring light itself is really heavy, and the tripod they come on, and I've just come across a lot of them in various people that I know own them, and the marketing that I did at the office that I was at, they had like several of them that constantly had to be replaced. I would say if you get one, you would maybe want to mount it on an arm on the wall. I would get something completely separate from this, or if you already own one, I would get the wall arm, because the wall arms tend to be a lot stronger. You mount them to the wall and you can, you know, pivot it and move it around however you need in your space. I also like the ones that come with a cool and a warm setting or daylight setting, because most of the ones that I've seen come with it, they're just super bright LED, very cold, cool toned, and it just washes everybody out, and it's super bright. So again, not my first choice. I would say it's not necessarily the most affordable version of lighting. There's also really cool things to create vibes in your video. So like the sunset lamp is one that's really taken off. It's kind of like the ring light, but you're more or less going to have that more behind you, or just shining onto a backdrop or wall behind you. But it just has this really beautiful just vibe to it. Square panels. I own a couple of these. These are really great, especially if you need something that you can just charge and take with you and not have to have a bunch of cords attached to it. This also works. These are to do that 3-point lighting setup. These are really great to have for that if you don't want to have like big box lighting and, you know, all that kind of stuff that you have to set up. This is really a simple thing that just screws on top of a tripod. Actually, a lot of them come with a tripod, so you don't even need to additionally purchase that. Some of them you can just put batteries in. Some of them you just charge up. I will say they don't last very long, so make sure if you're outside and you're going to shoot, or you're setting up and you're going to shoot, that you don't turn them on until you're absolutely prepared to start shooting. They last maybe like an hour or two at their max brightness. And that was actually, the ones that we have are like a really high quality one that we bought from a company. So I'm not sure if the less expensive ones will last as long as that, but they are a really good, lightweight, travel friendly option, and a less expensive one. So I think ones like these are like $35 each on Amazon. Personality background light. This is again just kind of like the sunset lamp. A lot of these are like touch. You can just touch the lamp on. But these just give a vibe behind you. A lot of people who do like tech videos and gaming videos use stuff like this, but it doesn't matter. It's, you know, whatever your vibe is. But it's always nice to know kind of what's out there for whatever mood you want to set for your video. My favorite, and the one I have used almost the entire time I've been creating content, is window light. It's my favorite. It lights you perfectly if you're not sitting in harsh sunlight, which I never recommend you do, but it's also free. The only thing that you're going to want to look out for is if you are filming or you need to film and it's a cloudy day. That's the only time I run into issues. I have to get like right up in the window. But other than that, most days are like this, and I can just, it's plenty of light for me to get good quality video. The other thing is, light is going to be what is going to make your video the best quality that it can be. So I find that in front of a window, my old Android phone, significantly better quality if I'm in a well lit situation. So the window has always been my best friend. And again, it's free. It's free to start using window light, which I'm all about free. Some of you might already have the wired headphones. Those are just a huge favorite among a lot of creators. And I mean, they do wear them and talk into it, but it's supposed to really cut out a lot of extra background noise, interference. But a lot of people really like it. They say when they move around, it doesn't cause a lot of, rustling noise or anything. And they can hear themselves really well, and the output the mic gives, they love. So if you have those already, even better, it's free. If you don't, they're relatively inexpensive. And they're multi-use. You can use them to make phone calls and listen to music and whatever else. So it's not just it's a waste if you're getting them to make videos. A lavalier mic, everybody's seen these. You probably had one hooked up to you at one point, but they're great. They're really inconspicuous. They're easy to hide. But the only problem with these, and I know we've all heard this, is when people move around, they rustle. You can hear rustling of clothing. They tend to have a really nice, crisp, clear sound. So if you want to use it as a handheld mic, that's totally fine. Because lavalier mics tend to be really great at cutting out like that lispy, hard S sound and the spitty sounds. But you're going to get a lot of rustling on clothes. So just be really careful, where you're clipping them on. And if you're using it for like something where you're moving a lot, that's the only thing I would say with that. USB mics are great, especially if you're doing anything like singing, interviews, ASMR, if you're starting a podcast. These usually hook up directly to your computer or your laptop. And I know, I know my mom got one recently. That's actually the one I used to have. The Yeti makes the blue mics here. They're great. I think around $100. Really awesome sound quality. But again, they're not necessarily as travel friendly, but you can hook it up to your laptop. You don't have to, plug it directly into the wall or anything like that. The handheld mini mic is one that it's just a lot of interview videos and, trendy videos. It doesn't have the best sound. It's cute. It's really inexpensive. So it's always an option if you just want something little to hold and talk into. This is my favorite by far. The shotgun mic, it attaches to the top of a tripod here, or you can attach it to just like your phone. It plugs into your phone on one end, and I actually use it as a handheld. So it's an incredibly versatile mic. It has amazing sound quality, and I think I got mine for under $30 5 years ago, and I've been using it to create content for 5 years. I have window light and this mic, and getting paid brand deals. So that's all I recommend. There's not anything else you really necessarily need. If you're going to be using it outdoors, you just want to use the windscreen, or if you have your windows open or a fan on or whatever. But it has amazing sound, and I've had one for several years under $30, and it's served me very well. Gathering your ideas for your content also can be a little daunting. The first thing that I would say to do is what a lot of other people do, is visiting Pinterest, YouTube, checking out magazines, news articles, blogs, about whatever it is that you're going to be creating, and making sure that you are checking their links in the blogs and kind of going down the rabbit hole of whatever it is that they're doing. Because oftentimes too, you'll see, for instance, a blog, about like, oh, I'm writing my first book. Here's a blog about that. But then there'll be links to, say, maybe some apps that help generate ideas for writing your first book. And so not only have you come across this new thing that you've never seen before, and you're learning about this person's process, but that gives you something to emulate. So you're like, okay, well, I can make a TikTok about writing my first book and how I came across this new app, and I'm using it to generate ideas to write. Whether or not you like the app, and you can make I mean, there's several pieces of content in that thing itself, but seeing what other people are doing in your niche that you're going to be doing will give you thousands and thousands of countless ideas. It doesn't maybe feel like it, but there are a ton. But again, Pinterest, YouTube, blogs are a really good source, and just following a lot of people on TikTok that are already doing, what you're doing. One of my favorite ones, and I don't hear people talk about this at all ever. I just posted a video about it because I never hear content creator like mentors and coaches talk about this. But Google Discover, you can put in the settings what kind of content that you want to see. So basically, this is like when you open your, so when you go on your phone and you open up Google, my internet. There we go. So when you open up Google and you just have all of your, your news feed there, all of mine are essentially about my channel, all the things I cover on my channel, like business news, interviews, company changes, company buyouts, whatever. So this is just the instructions on how to edit what you like and don't like. So what'll happen is it'll start feeding you articles that it thinks that you want to see. If you like it, you can click the heart here. I often will go to this 3-dot section here, which is like the menu, and I actually save them to like a section in Google that I call like business TikToks or work TikToks or whatever. And then that way, when I'm ready to film, I have all these articles that I've saved. Because if you like the article, all this is doing, it's not saving it, it's just telling Google, I like to see these kinds of things, which is great. You want to teach it that these are the things you want to be seeing. But as far as the menu option here, this is where you're going to go to actually save it so that you can actually go back to this specific article. And also what you can do is you can go here and say, I'm not interested in this. So if I'm just like sick of hearing about quiet quitting, I can just say not interested in this, and it'll pull like 90% of whatever quiet quitting articles it was going to show me. And it's not going to show them to me anymore. So not interested in this, not interested in quiet quitting. Don't show me content from Fortune, like, I hate Fortune magazine. I don't want to deal with them anymore. Or, whatever your and then managing your interests here. So, really great way to find a ton of things to talk about, for content. Again, following people that are doing what you are doing. This is probably one of the easiest ways. I really see a lot of people worried way too much about copying people. Don't, of course, copy exactly what they're doing. I feel like you guys, anybody in the like author niche, anybody that's writing understands the importance of not copying people too much. But you can certainly use people for inspiration. There's nothing wrong with that. And actually, what I started doing years ago was I found a couple people that I really liked what they were doing, and I went way down their page to like some of their first content, and I started recreating the videos that they had made, talking about the same topics that they had been talking about in my own voice and posting in the same way that they did. So, okay, they were talking about interview tips on this day. And then the next video they posted, they were talking about toxic bosses. And then the next one. So what I did was I did the same pattern that they were doing. And I talked about similar things because, they've made it. They have this huge following. They're doing great. And I'm emulating their process, but I'm not copying them. And also when you find a group of people and you kind of, cut and paste what they're doing, you're not copying just one person. You're getting inspiration and you're emulating what they're doing. It's not the same thing as copying. But absolutely finding people, following people, commenting, interacting with their content, because the other thing is the more you do that, the more the algorithm is going to show you their content and content like it and content that you want to see, content that you want to be creating, and it's going to keep giving you that inspiration regularly. So this is another really important thing. I actually had this question in class yesterday too. Combining different ideas together. So some people don't only want to talk about writing. They want to talk about food. They want to talk about games. They want to talk about outdoor stuff. So finding a way to bring those things together is really important, because you should be talking about things that you love. That comes through on camera. So if you're talking about something that you're passionate about and you love, you absolutely should be doing that. And one of the questions I had yesterday was this guy. He was like, "Well, I really love to cook at home, but I also like." He said, "I go to Italy. I travel to like the Cayman Islands. Like he goes everywhere." And he was like, "I want to kind of." He's like, "I want to do both though. I want to do both things." And so we were talking about how he can do that. And we were talking about that, the best eats all over the world. So him going into, he knows some of the people that own restaurants around the world. So he was talking about maybe going in and creating content with them by like cooking in the kitchen with them in different parts of the world, which is super cool. I'm excited to see what he ends up doing. Another one was somebody that really enjoys blogging, wanting to get on YouTube. They actually, we ended up finding out that they actually want to do vlogging. So sort of like, blogging in video format. So that's another way that he's combining the two things that he wants to do, and also microblogging, which we'll get into what, microblogging, but he doesn't want to spend and doesn't have a ton of time to blog. Creating a space when you guys are going to create is super important. I know a lot of people that cannot sit down and actually create unless they have a designated space that is clean, free of everything. Their stuff is already set up. For me, I need my stuff already set up. I need to have, my tripod is set up and it's just ready for me to pop my phone into. I need to have the chair there. So finding a designated space that is unchanging, that is maybe closed off so that you don't have a bunch of house noise, animals coming in, kids coming in, people coming in, whatever. That's super important. Turning off your phone, or at least turning on do not disturb when you're filming, is really important. I know that when I go to film, it sends this signal to my mother that it's time for her to call me. So repeatedly. So it's like, it just sends out the signals and bounces off the satellites. It really, I swear to God, it happens with it doesn't matter. My husband will call me, my mom will call me, my grandmother will call me, everybody will call and text, and I will get emails, all the notifications. So my phone will be buzzing while I'm trying to film, and it does make a noise when you're filming. So I highly recommend you use the do not disturb mode. One thing I do want to note when you do that, because a couple people yesterday, they were like older people, and they were really concerned about turning their like ringer off and notifications. If someone calls you 3 times in a row, it will kick off the do not disturb mode. So if it really is an emergency, people can get through to you. The last thing is to concentrate on the ideas that are that have the most potential right now. So the ones that are maybe a little less evolved, putting those on the back burner. This is what I call bananas and coconuts. So bananas, obviously, they're going to go brown faster. They're going to go bad faster. Coconuts can wait a little bit longer. But you may just be still working on that idea. And maybe it's a bigger idea. Maybe it needs more attention, a little bit more love, a little bit more research. But the things that you're ready to roll off with right now, no matter how small they are, those are the things I would start creating like right now. Creating a favorites folder, if you guys aren't already doing this. This was another way that I found a ton of stuff. I have a folder that I call stitch, like things that I want to stitch or duet, or things that I want to make videos about myself. So, so if you're on someone's video like this and you're like, this is a great topic, I also want to talk about this, I have a story about this, you're just going to click the little ribbon here. And what it's going to do is pop up like this menu, and you're just going to want to do create new collection. You're going to name that collection. So whatever you want to name it, like writing inspo videos or whatever, anything you want to call it. When you're on your profile page, you're going to go to this little ribbon here, same as this ribbon here, and that's going to bring you to you're going to have a little menu here, but you're going to click on collections, and it's going to bring up all your little folders that you made. So see, it says comedy, art, movies. So you got comedy, art, movies. These are just the folders that those videos were saved to and what they were named. So again, just profile, you're going to go here and then to collections. And then when you click on the folders themselves, so like the art folder, if we were to click on the art folder here, it's going to populate all the art videos that were saved and or artistic, whatever this is, videos into that folder. And this is, it's great. It's great to keep. It's kind of like making an inspo board, you know, of videos, creators, people that are already doing the thing that you want to do. Creating content to finding, again, more ideas on what to create. Conversations in the comments. So if you are not actively going on other people's accounts and commenting on their videos and interacting with other people. So if you find, say there's an author that you just are like, I would die if, you know, I sold that many books, or if I had that many followers, or if I had that many readers, whatever. And you just want to do what this person is doing, go in their comment section and make videos based off of their comments. People will ask questions that oftentimes people that are really popular, they don't have time to get back to these people, which is a really great way for you to jump in and answer their questions and also get them over on your side. So I mean, some people, just because they're big doesn't mean they have all the answers. You know, sometimes smaller, newer accounts, sometimes people have different experiences as an author. They may have really, you know, this inquisitive thing to say about this particular subject, and the person's like, wow, I want to follow them. So commenting on the comments, also doing a video. You can do a video. As soon as you click on their comment, it'll give you a little video option if the content creator has allowed that to be an option. Some people have turned it off. I have not found that really to be a thing. I think you have to go looking for that to be turned off. But most people they want more engagement on their videos. So they're fine if you go in and you know, make a video off of that comment. So what'll happen is you go into the comment section, you click on the comment, and it'll have like a little video camera with a red circle. You just click on that and it'll bring up your recording screen. And it will have the comment in a little box. I know we've all seen those where people are, you know, stitching a comment and making a video. It'll pop their comment up in the top of your video, and you're just recording your video answering their question. So great way to have like endless amounts of content to make. Sounds, you know, I'm sure we've all heard a sound on TikTok or Instagram that, you know, it evokes like a certain feeling. So whether it's music or, you know, a clip from a movie, anything like that, usually this is where you're going to find that. This is the sound that's usually running on the video. So you click that and it'll bring up this page for you, and you're just going to want to click this ribbon again. And what that will do is save that sound for you to go back to later. Because unless you save this video particularly folder, it's going to be hard to go back and find that sound specifically. So you just want to click on the sound here and then save it. That way you can go back and use it in your video that you want to use. And also you can use it multiple times. It'll just be saved. Highly recommend adding captions to your videos. I see people doing this. I know that there is an option to turn on your captions. A lot of people don't have their captions turned on. So if someone hasn't populated captions on their video in text format, sometimes you can go down and, you know, select to have captions on every video. I find that the ones that you have to turn on yourself don't always populate correctly. They're a little bit slower, and you don't want necessarily them on for every video, because sometimes the place that they populate is over top of something important that the person didn't anticipate you populating captions over. So I always try to film where I have enough space above my head that I can populate the captions, and then I can write my title across here, so that when my title video box, whatever, my upload photo section comes up, you know, the main photo that's going to be on my video, it's, you know, me and my title. And then when you open the video, you have the captions at the top, so people can still read. It's not across your face. It's not across here. It's not getting jumbled with your video description, but it makes it inclusive and accessible for everybody. I know, like, my grandmother is not deaf. She loves TikTok. She's not deaf, but even when she turns her phone all the way up, she's hard of hearing. So she's always wanting to enjoy videos and she can't. So this is one thing that actually encouraged me to start turning on my captions, because, I mean, people will just scroll away. They're not going to bother. And you don't want any reason for people to just scroll away from your video. We're trying to make it easy for them to enjoy and view and interact and want to be on your page. So that it's just something I don't see enough people doing, and I also don't see enough people talking about. I will say, me specifically, having a baby, when he is around and I really want to catch up on TikTok, there's so many, I would say 9 out of 10 videos that I watch don't have captions. There's no context to what I'm watching. And it's so frustrating because if there was just captions, I could totally tell what's going on. And so I'm so appreciative when there are. Also, you're in a doctor's office waiting, or if you're, I don't know, just in a car and there's a bunch of people in the car and you don't want to disturb anybody. There's a lot of situations we're in where captions would be super helpful. Organizing your posts is also important. I would say it's not necessarily the most important thing, but if you are looking to become more consistent with your content, it might be an accountability tool that you need. If you don't have like an accountability partner. The top 2 ones that I would recommend off the bat, Hootsuite and Planoly. Planoly is super beginner friendly. A lot of people love Hootsuite as well. They're both a paid option. I think Planoly is maybe $10 a month. Hootsuite isn't terribly expensive, but it is a little bit more up there if you want to use a more professional version, and it does have a little more bells and whistles. Loomly, I'm not terribly familiar with. I used it a long time ago. It's pretty basic as well. And Later and Hootsuite, actually both of these put out fantastic articles on content creation, planning. They put out master classes. They put all kinds of free stuff, and it's great. It's free education on creating. It's amazing. They really do put out good quality stuff. So Later and Hootsuite are, I would say, if you want to be like more medium to advanced, but they aren't beginner friendly. Planoly is really super basic. This is kind of just an idea of the layout of them. Sometimes too, the layout, like for me, Loomly, this is what Loomly looks like. To some people, this looks super organized and really great. It was a little busy for me, and it didn't. I really like seeing pictures like this. Like these are my posts that are going to go. This is what my post is going to look like when it goes up on on Twitter. This is what my post is going to look like. So you can see how everything is going to look when it posts on Hootsuite. Planoly, you've got what your posts are going to look like here, and then you have your calendar layout, sort of like your desktop calendar. Later is very similar as well. So really just depending on what type of brain you are would be really dependent on which one you want to go with. Do you guys have any questions before I move on to engagement?
No, nothing so far.
Okay, cool. All right, so engagement and growth. If you guys aren't already creating, getting your analytics and metrics aren't going to matter, of course, because you don't have anything to measure just yet. But it is something when you're starting out that you may want to take a peek at. Your analytics are just going to show you demographics. It's going to show you the time of day people are hopping on. If they're mostly female or mostly male, age groups, where they're from, what country they're from, what state they're from. It's going to show you all kinds of things, which is useful. It doesn't seem maybe at first that it's terribly useful, but it really helps you to create a voice when you understand that you're maybe mostly talking to women in their 50s that are from the South, whatever. It just helps you to picture your audience in your head and maybe get a little bit better voice for that audience. And then these are just some questions to ask yourself once you start doing your analytics. What is success to you? Like once you've reached 1,000 followers and you can go live, is that something that you count as success, or are you not considering yourself successful until you've sold 100,000 books? Like these things matter when you're trying to measure your engagement. Quick tip, please, if you want to move your page in a positive direction, comment on every single comment that comes across your page. Also, often, I notice that sometimes in your alerts, like your notifications, it doesn't always tell you that someone has posted, that they've always posted a comment. So I always go back and actually individually check the comment section of my videos, because sometimes they just get missed. or maybe I clicked on it and I forgot about it, you know, a couple days ago. But not only can you create content from whatever someone is posting, whether it's a hateful comment or whether it's a nice comment, you can create content off of that. But also the algorithm, when it is looking for engagement, and whether or not you have a lot of engagement on your videos and your videos are doing well, and whether or not it's going to push your video out and show it to more people, it doesn't measure if it's you that's commenting or if it's someone else that's commenting. So if someone comments and then you ask them a question and comment, that's 3 comments. And then they're going to comment back to that, and they're going to comment again. So usually what I do is I post so someone posts like, great tips, thank you. I usually post like a bunch of hearts. So that's 1 comment. And then I say something like, do you have anything else to add or whatever? So I ask a question to start a conversation to get more, you know, comments going. But absolutely comment on every single comment when you are trying to grow. I see this is something that I see happen way too often. People are just like leaving people hanging. It's like, well, you know, this person came to your page, they showed you some love, and then it's like you just kind of like let them hang out there, and they're like, okay, well, never mind. So I'll definitely get back to them. Post times, I hear a lot of people talk about this. I think honestly that posting when you have time to post is the most important thing. Creating and posting do not have to be the same thing. So if you only have time to create at a certain time of day, that's fine. Save those videos to your drafts if you want to work on the post time. So basically you're going to go into your analytics and you're going to see like, oh, people are mostly on my page at 7 p.m. and you've been posting at like 9 a.m. Well, yeah, so most people aren't going to see that until way later. And it also they might not see it at all because it's getting pushed out of the algorithm. So if you want to try to take advantage of that and post around 7 p.m., film whenever you have time to film and post at 7 p.m. Don't post it right away. Just post it at 7 p.m. I don't think this particularly matters. I used to stick to this like it was, I don't know, like the law. And I don't think it matters at all because I post random times now and it does not, I mean, I'll go to bed and I'll wake up and things went viral as opposed to, you know, me posting. Most people are up at 9 and 10 looking at my content. I'll post something and I'll wake up and it only has a couple thousand views. So I don't think that it particularly matters. I think whatever is going to help you post consistently, which is super important, is going to be the thing that matters the most. And actively engaging with the audience, again, commenting on their comments, posting video, using their comments as fodder for creating content. Those to me are the most important thing. And, you know, you may need to post 3 times a day to start out. Sounds like a lot. Batching content is super helpful for that. But if you can only post 1 time a day, that's all you can post. If you can only post 3 times a week, legitimately, that's all you can post. But I would post 3 times a week every week. I would post 1 time a day every day. Whatever you're, you know, just so that you don't mess yourself up. Just plan on, okay, I think I can do this X amount of times. Make that your plan. Some more quick tips before I wrap this part up is, replying to comments with a video, increasing your content production for better results. So just doing more videos, getting more content out there to grab attention from more people. Calls to action are super important. So asking questions or telling people to do something. So introducing yourself and saying, hey, this is what I do. Make sure you guys follow along. Make sure you guys save this video, etc. Sometimes all it takes is telling people to do something and they will do it. Storytelling with your content is really big. People want to get to know who you are and who they're following. You can use popular trends to your advantage. So again, CapCut puts out all kinds of trending, snippets from movies and TV shows and music videos. Those are fun to use. I would not rely very heavily on them, but they are fun to do. And when you can relate them to your niche. And again, getting to know your audience is super important. So once you build those analytics up, going and looking at them and seeing what kind of people are viewing your content. 3-second rule for TikTok. People's attention span is super low right now. It's small, it's short. I'm pretty sure what's hilarious about this is that TikTok is kind of responsible for this. So they also are the ones who made the 3-second rule. It's not the thing about dropping the food on the floor and then and eating it before its journey. It's more or less that the first 3 seconds that someone is on a video, you have the opportunity to either really capture their attention or absolutely lose them. So I see so many times where people have missed a hook, and they'll start to talk about like, hey guys, I'm so and so, and today we're going to talk about X. Put the X thing first. Like, writing your first book is really hard and exhausting, super stressful and exhausting. I'm so and so. I'm an author. I'm writing my first book. Look, people are selfish. They don't care about anyone else but themselves. They don't care who we are. They really don't. They really don't care who we are. So they only want to know that you're an expert at this thing. So they want to know the thing, like hook them with the meat of the subject really quickly. So the other thing that I do, a lot of my content that gets a lot of attention is like shock and awe. And what I do is I'll say something that could maybe be taken another way, and then I clarify. And I know my mom's seen me do this a lot, or she's gone in the comments to defend me. So, and again, it's, sometimes, bad publicity, it's not, but bad publicity isn't a real thing. If engagement is what matters online, people, saying a bunch of rude comments, it could be a good thing. It's just going to drive your video out there to the people that do want to see it. So
To clarify, I don't think you're saying be clickbaity
no,
or false, misleading.
no,
For example, I like a lot of your videos about quiet quitting.
yeah,
And you say you're going to talk about quiet quitting, and then you explain why quiet quitting is not actually a thing or whatever.
yeah. So I'll say like, just as an example, I'll say something like, I read an article about Gen Z and Gen Z bringing their parents to work to interview. So Gen Z are bringing their parents to interviews now. And so I don't hate Gen Z. I don't care. That's also, it's not a real thing. That's not happening. But what I do is that's the hook. And people are like, what the heck? People are bringing their parents to interviews. And so they continue to watch the video. And I clarified that I don't have a problem with Gen Z, that I also don't think it's happening. And then I found an article that they also said that crap about millennials back in 2012. So it's, you can really hook people, but just make sure that you're going to clarify whatever you're going to say. It's also not the strategy that you have to have. It's just the one that I use on that page specifically. Again, storytelling, super important. You don't want to do storytelling every single video, but this is going to really show people who you are and help them connect with you. Building audience trust and community is a really big one. That's what's going to get people sticking around and doing the things that you ask them to do. Giving engagement to get engagement, again, commenting, liking, following, sharing, interacting with people that are in your same niche in order to get other people that are following them to follow you. And posting consistently. 3 times a day is the average when you're trying to grow an account until you've actually like now I only post once a day or once every other day, which is totally fine with my audience. But when you're trying to scale pretty quickly, 3 times a day is good to do. Before we talk about that too, I just want to talk really quickly about batching content, because I don't think I go over this in this segment here, but batching content, if you guys don't already know what it is, and it's something that I have to do, most people do, is when you have time, so say Saturday afternoons, you're free, right? You have time to create content. Take that time to create like 20 videos, which sounds like a lot, but once you guys get rolling, I promise you, it's not going to be a lot. I will spend like 2 hours just creating a ton of content. That way, throughout the week, like when the baby goes down for a nap or in between whatever it is that I'm doing, I have time to post. So the content is there. I can edit it when I have time. I can do a hashtag strategy. I can work on all that stuff in between whatever else it is that I'm doing. But you can post it later, and you'll have all these pieces of content. So if I'm filming every Saturday, I probably have more content than I even need for that week. So it's maybe like 2-3 weeks worth of content if I was posting once a day. But if you guys are trying to post 3 times a day to really scale your account, you're going to want to create several pieces of content, you know, and again, if you could do that on Saturdays and Sundays or Mondays and Wednesdays, whatever your day off is or your available time, that is what I would recommend doing. Batching content is really, really good, especially for people who are maybe OCD, neurodivergent, ADHD, any of the fun ones, because people that are like that, like myself, it's really hard to find the time sometimes to be able to, you know, be accountable and actually do it. So you may designate a certain time of day and then you're like, actually, I'm tired. I'd rather not right now. But batching it when you feel the energy to do it is the best time to do it, and just do a ton of it.
This is something that you taught me, because when I first started TikTok, I was just trying to make a video and post it, make a video whenever
It's
in the moment,
exhausting.
because
It's exhausting.
well, that's how I used to blog, and
Yeah.
that works okay for blogging.
Blogging.
When you sit down, you want to write a long blog, but
Yeah.
actually the batching is what made it not overwhelming for me anymore.
Yeah.
Because I would be constantly thinking, what can I video today? What can I put
Yeah.
up today? Because you
Yeah.
haven't got another one in the queue sitting in the drafts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was
And also there are days, guys, when I just have this, like, my husband pointed out, he's like, your eyes look dead. Like, you don't look interested in what you're talking about at all. And I can't, maybe the baby stayed up all night and I just don't, my brain is not firing, you know, on all whatever. I can't get myself there. It's not a good day to create. So when you do have the energy and, you know, you feel good, you know, I look good today, I feel good today, go create some content, create a ton of content and keep creating until you're just like sick of it. That way you just have a lot of backlog of content for yourself. Also, I did this when I had my C-section. So I think I created like 100 pieces of content while I was pregnant. So the first 2 months that I was like fully out of commission, I was still posting. Like, nobody even knows that I was pregnant and had a child. They have no idea. Like, they can't even tell on my TikTok channel.
And some people might not care about this, but I do. I keep a few shirts and sweaters and things in my office, and glasses. I switch my glasses up and my shirt up after I do about 5 or 6 videos. I feel like I want to look different, and so that my looks are different. I don't look like I don't know. I know I did. It's not like, I just think of it like a morning show, or or I don't know how to explain it, but it does bother me to be in the same outfit in 30 videos and the same like, you can tell. I know nobody's going back and looking at my video, say, oh, she has the same shirt and glasses on. I know nobody's doing that. But for me, I like it helps the energy, even of, like, for example, when I do my Fairy Tale Fridays, which I haven't done those in a long time, I'm gonna start doing again. I like to have like my pink on and my pink sweater and my cute glasses or whatever. And when I'm just talking about book stuff, like businessy book stuff, it doesn't matter. I don't know. Maybe other people, I'm just saying, I'm just tossing it out there as a thing. If you're doing batching and it bothers you to be in the same outfit, go ahead and have some other clothes available and things, accessories to film in.
Yeah, I clip my hair up. I'll put my glasses on. I'll take my glasses off. I'll leave my hair clipped up. I'll just pull on another shirt after like 5 or 6 videos I've been making, because I notice that. I notice when creators are doing, I'm like, she made like 25 videos in one day because she's wearing the same thing she was wearing. Other people will not notice this. They don't care. It is something that I notice just because I also batch content. It does not matter though. It really doesn't.
Some people, it's their thing though, to shoot exactly the same and in the same exact clothes.
Yes, it has a feeling of consistency and also familiarity. You know, people are like, oh, I recognize this person immediately. This is my comfort zone. This is my person. But I do like to change it up a little bit as well, because it looks like I'm just shooting this. It almost looks like you're just making the same video. So I understand that, wanting to kind of create that separate, because you're getting a different thought. Maybe it's a different feeling. Like, you know, in one video I might be talking about interview tips, and then I move on to toxic bosses. That's a whole different, it's a whole different vibe, you know. So you may want to switch up what you're wearing or what you're doing. SEO and hashtag strategy. So we went over this in the last class. You guys know SEO is just optimizing your videos to rank higher in search engines, whether that's Google, Etsy, wherever the heck you're doing this. What's really super cool right now is not only are young people using TikTok as a the search engine, period, but because of that, Google has now started TikTok videos in the top of their searches. So when you go search something now, you'll just see TikTok videos pop up, which is cool because that's a really great way to get on Google's front page of searches. So really just using keyword descriptors, really describing what you're talking about. This is going to come up in your username, your name, your bio, your video description, your hashtags you're using, your captions. But the words that you are saying, because AI, all of their systems and software is also reading what it is that you're talking about. So using keywords, not being super vague about what it is that you're trying to get across, and using those keywords so that you're drawing in an audience and you're going to perform better. Your videos are going to get put at the top, closer to the top of Google, closer to the top of the TikTok search page. TikToks to microblogs, because blogs are a really great way to utilize SEO. Threads is a really big one. I know my mom kept telling me about Threads. A lot of my coaches and people that I had been taking their master classes for years, they were like, "Why aren't you on Threads?" Because Threads is more or less just taking off. So it's a really great way to easily connect with really popular people and brands, because there's not a lot of people. But every day, more and more people are getting on there. So Threads is
I'm sorry, the algorithm's really good too.
Yeah. I've not been good about being on there consistently, but I am working it into my, but it's definitely recommend you guys do it. So Twitter, Threads, Twitter for Instagram, like Meta, and Facebook. Microblogging is a really great way to, if you just do not either have the time to post a full 3-page blog. Microblogging, super popular, really great way to get your SEO in there, but you or TikTok video in your microblog. And that's another great way. You just, it's a descriptor of what it is that you're doing in the video. So what's really great about the microblogs and having is it's going to appeal to whoever likes those things. So people, are there that prefer to read blogs, they're still going to be on your post. People that prefer to learn something through a video, they're still going to be on your post. It doesn't matter. But microblogs, really great too for people that do not have the time to do those full-length blogs anymore. And actually, I got this really great question yesterday. This guy was asking, he's like, "Well, I'm a blogger. I blog 5 times a day. What the heck do I do? What do I do? Do I have to write another microblog?" I was like, "No, just go through and pull out the key points of your ginormous blog that you just typed and make it just a snippet. Just encapsulate this little, nugget of of a blog. And you could put at the bottom, read the full blog on my page. Maybe just put something that really draws people in, and then tell, because we're always wanting to lead people somewhere else, to some other page. We're funneling them somewhere. Hashtags are not nearly as important as they used to be. It's just categorizing what you're doing. I would still use them. You only need a couple. You don't need to do a paragraph of them. But doing a couple big ones like books, book talk, writer, author, whatever, ones that have probably millions of uses, that's okay to do. But the more likely that you're going to get views is when you're using the more niche ones. So I don't know, give me what's a good niche book talk hashtag?
Romantasy is a good one.
That's there you go.
A fairly new term that's been being thrown around a lot.
That's a good one. Okay, yeah. So using some really niche ones on top of the ones that already have. And again, when you guys go to punch in the hashtags, it's going to show you on the side how many times it's been used. The ones that have millions of uses or hundreds of thousands of uses, but then you're going to want to go down the list and use some of the ones that maybe have 11,000 uses or something a lot smaller. We already, we went over basic, and I think all of you have already made videos too. But these are really the only thing. Again, you can use UCut if you want the super basic editing. We already went over how to edit video, but the split, trash, adjusting your clips, arrows, this is stuff you're going to be using. You do not need anything super fancy. If you guys want, I'm actually going to, I started a content creator page just for, after classes like this, you guys can refer back to that for, if you have a question, I can actually make a video about it specifically so that you have something a little more in detail, in depth to go back to. So I'm actually going to post a UCut editing tutorial. It's like a 15-second one, but you can watch it as many times as you need to, but I'm going to be posting that probably today or tomorrow. This here, this tip for your videos is actually kind of on par with what we were talking about, where you're saying you wanted to change your outfits and glasses and things like that. Experimenting with different scenery, angles, lighting, trying to keep it interesting. So maybe when you go for a walk, try, just videoing yourself while you're talking. Sit outside and drink your tea or your coffee and talk about your book or your writing process, whatever it is. Try different things, because you may find one day that you just plop down outside in your lawn chair and you're drinking your coffee and you're like, wow, the lighting out here is great. I look gorgeous, and I love the breeze, and it's great lighting, and you can hear my beautiful wind chime behind me, and I'm talking about this, my writing process, and it just comes out very organically. Sometimes changing up the scenery will give you just a whole different vibe to what you're doing, and you sometimes will find this little nook of your house that you've never even sat in before, and you're like, wow, I'm rolling with the content now. This is great. You can try recording with your back camera. It can be a little bit of a pain in the butt unless you're setting up a tripod. And even then, sometimes you have to crop in because you put too much space above your head or you're off center of the frame. But if you guys want super high quality content, you can use the back camera. I don't hardly ever use my back camera. The front cameras seem to be fine when I use window light. So when I'm standing by the light of the window and getting plenty of light into the camera lens. B-roll is one of the easiest things to create. You guys can prop your phone up on your cereal box and just record yourself pouring your coffee. What you will do is you'll just put text and maybe like a song over top of it. It's just like either like a funny thing about being a writer, or a terrible thing about being a writer, or a hard thing about being a writer, or just something controversial. Well, it doesn't matter, but you're going to put either whatever it is, you're going to write something over top of that B-roll. And some of those have blown up and gone, I mean, like several of them. It just, if you have something snarky to say, something funny to say, something that you think is totally relatable for a lot of like writers that are trying to get their book published, that would be a great thing to use over B-roll. But when you create a ton of B-roll, you will have endless content. And I mean, really, you can put, I've seen people like mowing their lawn and they like put a inspirational quote over top of it. And it has like 1 million likes. Like,
I want to clarify too that for me, and I think she's saying writer a lot because I try to engage with the writer community a lot. I think Tony and Jennifer are more interested in connecting with readers.
Yeah.
And so whatever your content, I think, now I'm not the expert that that Amber is, but I definitely have learned a bit about social media over the years, because that's kind of what I do for my other day job, but not TikTok. So that's fairly new for me. But because the algorithm in TikTok is the way that it is, it's important if you want to connect with readers, if you do your B-reel and you put your text over something, or you talk over it, or music or whatever, you want to say something that as a reader you might want to hear. So like if you have a dragon story and you might want to show the B-reel of your dragon art that's for your new cards getting created, and have some cool fantasy music over the back of it, and rather than appealing to other writers of fantasy, you want, if you're more interested in the readers of fantasy, you want to say something the readers would be interested in, as opposed to what the writers would be interested in.
Yeah. Also outlining your content. This is something that helps me a lot. So if you guys have just a little bit of a script, at least just an idea, some bullet points of what it is that you're going to talk about, it helps to keep your brain on track when you're when you're filming, because sometimes it can be really easy to get off track and start talking about something completely different, and then you lose track of what the point was, and sometimes you end up not filming the thing that you intended to film. So writing out just a mini script at least for each video can be helpful in the beginning. And then lastly, just some updates that literally came up within just the past few weeks. So if you need to just be aware of, if you need to edit a video, often, so say you posted it on TikTok, and we were talking about this, you can't edit a video once it's posted. What a lot of people had started doing was they were saving the video from their page, re-uploading it. And apparently that's getting penalized now because your video has like a tag that TikTok puts on it invisibly. So once you've already created that piece of content, if you remove it and try to re-upload it, it thinks something funny is going on, like you're stealing content or you're doing something that's not good. So for some reason it's flagging that. So if you do that and you notice it has like 2 views on it or none, that's probably why that happened. Again, TikTok is saying that they're really supporting and favoring the long form. They're just landscape video. They're really just trying to compete with YouTube, which is fine. But because it's nice that you can do both landscape and portrait videos. They've also updated, TikTok has updated so that you have like a desktop version that you can edit your videos, upload your videos. That's also a really great way if you really want high quality videos. For some reason, uploading from the desktop into the app seems to be going really well for people that are really trying to up the quality of their videos. And the biggest push they're having right now is for TikTok shop creators and buying. That is not something you guys necessarily have to participate in. But
I have seen a lot of authors. In fact, I've been watching them on lives at night, selling direct. I don't know, Tony and Jennifer, are either of you interested in selling direct?
We prefer to sell direct because you get more money that way, but kind of not sure about the TikTok shop. I'm not sure if it's safe or with credit card information.
Oh, okay. So I don't think it's any less safe. I'm going to be doing some more investigating this, and I'll report back to the group about it because I do intend to use TikTok shops. I've noticed a lot of authors selling directly from their TikTok. I'm sorry, Amber, if I could just hijack this for just a second, since it's relevant. So I'm going to be doing some informational research on that as well, and I will report back to the group because I've noticed too that a lot of authors are doing lives at night mostly, where they have their inventory and kind of in view and their envelopes kind of in view, and they're signing the books and they're watching the audience, and they're talking to them when they have flash sales or when they have time to do that, whatever. I think it's a great idea to connect with the audience. Of course, the more introverted won't want to do that, and that's fine. Yeah. But I do think it's a good, going live is a really good tool for people who are comfortable doing that. But also I've noticed that some of these authors are selling a ton of books, but there are caveats that are with TikTok shops. Like TikTok has a lot of rules, like you have to ship it out in like 3 days. So for example, if you only have 30 books on hand, you don't want to put any more than that in your inventory. You have to have your shipping materials ready. You have to be ready to roll. So little things like that. And so I'll be looking into that. I'll be reporting back about it. I might do TikToks about it. so that
you're watching for that.
Okay.
I also, I have been concerned about purchasing anything through, because I know, a lot of people have been concerned about the security of it because it is owned by China and things like that. So they're like, are they spying on it? There's like a lot of things surrounding, there's a lot of concern around that. And so I actually bought something the other day. I used my PayPal. So I only use my PayPal account. I don't use my credit card or anything. But my PayPal account is hooked up to my TikTok, so I can get paid through the creator program. And I haven't had any, knock on wood, I haven't had any weird things happen. I've just been getting money, which is great. But that's also how I purchased through TikTok Shop. So it just uses my PayPal funds to pay. So it's not logging into anything or anything else outside of what I already do.
So your payment from the creator fund goes into the PayPal, and then
PayPal.
you can buy things in TikTok,
Yeah. So whatever.
but you can
funds
also
are in
cash in if you
PayPal.
want to.
Yes. Yeah. But I was like, you know what? I know a lot of my mentors are doing classes right now on TikTok Shop because their students are reporting back that they're making like thousands and thousands of dollars now every month. Like one of his students recently made like $10,000 just this month. Like it's not even, the month isn't even done. So he was like, okay, we got to talk about this. So I actually purchased something day before yesterday. They sent me an email alert that I did the order, how much it was, and they said they're going to let me know when it shipped. It shipped this morning. I got an email alert that it shipped. Nothing looks weird, but I will also let you guys know if anything weird comes of that. What I'm going to try to do is work. It's like a heated round brush. I'm going to try to work it into one of my videos and just see how that goes. See if I make anything. See if I'm even able to do it. But it's just a way to kind of test it out to see if it's even worth trying. If there's anything funky about it. If my credit card got compromised, my PayPal account, anything.
You're talking about the affiliate program, right? Like where you have an item.
Yeah.
Like you put the link to
Yeah.
the item that the other people sell. Because there are two different things, right?
Yes,
I mean,
yeah.
you're
So
talking
you
about things that you have your own inventory, or
Yeah.
one that you're doing like an affiliate where you push.
Yeah, so you would get a commission off of, but it's still, I mean, you're still utilizing the shops. You're still utilizing the buying process and putting, your information in there, how you're going to get paid or whatever. But yeah, I'm gonna dive into that a little bit and see how it goes. Because they're really pushing it. So I've seen creators that only have 1,500 followers, and I come up their TikTok shop video comes up and they've got like 2 million likes. So for somebody that's only got 1,500 followers, you can tell TikTok is really pushing TikTok Shop. They're really pushing that out. So while I'm not a fan of being overly salesy, I do think there's a time and a place. And I think that while it is hot, because these things cool down very quickly because so many people jump on board, I would absolutely research it heavily and see if you're comfortable doing it. And if you are, like, immediately get on doing it because it changes, things change. So, but yeah, did you guys have any other questions about anything? We are going to send you the slides. So from the last class and from this class, so you guys will have plenty of those to go through. And you can email me some questions if you guys have any of them. I will also send you my creator TikTok account so that you guys can send me questions. I can just post videos like of walkthroughs of things so that you can actually see them in real time. But outside of that, do you have any questions about anything else here?
I don't think so. I mean, give it a try. Like, we'll make videos. We do a lot of text-based videos rather than face videos.
Mhm.
And we put the question at the end. Maybe we should put the question at the beginning, to try to keep engagement.
It would depend on, like, can you give me an example of one?
Like, it's just something simple. Like, we did this weekend. Blah 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 blah. What did you do this weekend?
Yeah,
Something like
maybe either after your sort of like whatever your hook part is, like the thing that really gets their attention, like the main part, maybe like right after that, unless the question is part of what you're talking about. I would say, I mean, you could put it at the beginning, maybe even just try it, just do a little case study on that. Try switching it up. And because sometimes people love talking about themselves. So if you're immediately asking people like, well, what are you doing? I want to know about you. Like, they're like, yes, I want to talk about me too. What a coincidence. I would also like to talk about.
do that. We try to include a question, and
Mhm.
like we get 0 comments, and like 200 to 300 views, but 0 comments.
Yeah.
How many followers do you have right now?
I have on my account, I have like 2,000 something, and Della's like 1,700
Okay.
on our
Okay.
main one.
For me, Amber hasn't had that problem in a very long time. I would say for me, I maybe like every third video or so gets a decent amount of comments. And I do notice that I get more engagement with posts that I make on the weekends. Like during a
Okay.
Saturday during the day, I think more people are sitting and scrolling on those days and times. I try to remember too that there's different time zone. Like
Right.
if I'm on the East Coast, and if I post at 11 o'clock at night and I get a lot of engagement, I know 3 hours later it's going to be 11 o'clock at night. Yeah, wait, 3 hours earlier so yeah, 3 hours later it's going to be 11 o'clock at night on the West Coast. So I might post another video if I got a lot of engagement.
The other thing
Gotcha.
you can try, and this is something I did when I had just started my account, and people were also not, they were like, I mean, she says cool stuff, so I'll follow her, but I don't have anything to say to her. The people that I knew, interacted with me pretty regularly, or at least, like you see their handle a lot because they like your content, or maybe they don't comment, but they like it or they share it or whatever.
Right.
You can at those people in the comment and just be like, hey, what are you up to this weekend? We're doing this, blah, blah, blah. Would love to hear what you're up to. And you can just at several people in the comments, and then hopefully they'll comment something back, and then you can say something, intriguing,
Got
and
it.
ask another question. But sometimes that'll get the train moving of like, oh, hey. And also the more, the more, what am I trying to say? The more interested and real you sound with your response. So if they tell you what they're doing this weekend, and you're not just like, wow, sounds fun. If you're like, oh my God, that sounds really cool. Where is that at? I'll have to check that out next time I'm in town, or something. Like really like you're having a real conversation, because the more interested you are in them, the more they're going to want to engage each time. But that will at least start the engagement. And then that should help at least push it out to, some more people. But it may be too that maybe asking different questions, and just changing it up a little bit if you are putting it at the beginning. But I would like to look at your page and see, if I have any ideas for
And
you.
I think you're getting ready with your new account to do one-on-one consultation and page audits and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that I know you don't have that services set up yet, but uh, that is something that I think that you're going to be doing, and maybe at some point we can arrange. I'm going to say it right now. If maybe we can arrange a discount code for Right Women Network people a little bit, that would be. But I think that these are all great questions. I think you have a whole nother class here that we can maybe we can arrange, because I have a lot more questions too. But Tony, like, instead of like, what did you do this weekend? And you were going to say what you did that weekend. Maybe you went out to an ice cream store or something. You're like, maybe at the beginning you say something like, what kind do you like your ice cream homemade, or do you mind big brands or whatever? Like, like get a little bit more niche with
Right.
it,
Right.
and ask the
Okay.
question less, open, and it is still open ended, but like maybe
Yeah.
the topic of ice cream, or the topic of dragons, or the topic of
Right.
whatever is what with the question in it that goes at the beginning. Amber, what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, staying in or going out. Like, what are we doing this weekend? Like, are we just like lounge lizards, or are we actually going to do something? So we this.
Right.
So
Lately, all
yeah,
I've been doing is sharing my character art, because like I got tired of creating stuff and nothing happening with it. So it's just been character art videos.
yeah, yeah. I definitely. I'm also doing little mini audits. That's another thing that I've been doing to try to just create some more content on my content creator other page the other TikTok I made. So I could take a look at you guys' pages and just do, if you're open to that. Some people don't want
Sure.
a public flogging, so
And you're going to be probably covering a lot of this stuff on your new creator account, right?
yeah, yeah. Somebody just yesterday asked me about using UCut. He's like 60 plus years old and was like, I need you to like hold my feet. So He was like, can you I was like, yeah. I was like, I'll make a video on it and post it on that page. That way, just more detailed things, just diving in a little deeper than maybe we went on a class. Cause you can all, I mean, this feels long, I'm sure.